Welcome back to The Debaters Season 2, a debate game show for high school students here in Vietnam. The Debaters is co-produced by VTV7, the national educational channel in Vietnam, and British University Vietnam. I am your host, Dustin Chevier. Viewers at home, audience with us right now, Harry Potter. Yes, we are going to be having a debate with Harry Potter. Not actually, but topics revolving around that. In Harry Potter, you have students at Hogwarts. And when they come to Hogwarts, they get fitted with a top hat. And it's going to put the students in different areas. So technically, we're segregating students at Hogwarts. We have Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherins. All of these segregated areas in school are determined by the hat that the students wear when they come to Hogwarts. And our motion for today, that we should abolish all houses, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherins in Hogwarts. Now that we have the motion, I'm thrilled to introduce the teams that we have.
This is TIionG breaking news.
I've never thought that the motion is gonna be about Harry Potter because actually I'm a Potterhead, so this is really an exciting experience for me.
Well, we actually looked for the resources, which mostly come from the Harry Potter movies and story itself. We also try to think of some practical and principal cases for the motion.
CNN breaking news team, that team is very promising. They have the passion to ask questions and improve their ability to logically arrange their ideas. On the other hand, I think that they just have to work hard on how to develop an argument because sometimes they ended themselves with a one-liner argumentation and they could not improve and go to pragmatics or how would they operate their arguments on the ground. So their challenge would be try to tie back their arguments to the motion itself at the same time, learn how to develop and logically link the arguments to the motion.
Hi, we are Triple Threat.
In my opinion, I think that this is a very interesting motion because it mostly correlates to the education systems that we have currently.
We have watched 7 series of Harry Potter. We also dig deeper on every characters to know the motions better.
This is the first tournament for the triple threat. So firstly, we needed to prepare for their, mental availability, right? Mental resilience, because they will face a lot of experienced teams in the upcoming round. And then we went through again, the basic skills, strategies to the intermediate level through extensive training sessions. However, they are quick learners. That's the good thing. And I think they will make a lot of, surprising elements for the debate round.
So teams, CNN breaking news. I heard from a little bird that some of you had experience with debaters already. Is that true?
Yes, I used to join the Vietnamese version of the debaters, so yeah, a little bit experience.
And I heard from another bird that you guys don't have lots of experience with debating. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so we have seasoned debaters and then underdogs. The underdogs, don't worry, you guys. You can still do an exceptional job, and I believe in you. Because triple threat, that's a strong team name. And are you guys Harry Potter fans?
Kinda.
Just kind of? I'm the biggest Harry Potter fan out there. You're kind of Harry Potter fans.
Yes.
CNN breaking news, Harry Potter fans.
Yes. We are all Potterhead.
Okay, so more so compared to triple threat. So you guys, thank you so much. And we cannot forget our lovely judges. So please give a round of applause for both teams and the judges. Without further ado, let's get started with the first debate. From CNN Breaking News, the proposition team, please welcome Nguyễn Minh Châu. From the opposition team, Triple Threat, please welcome Nguyễn Thị Hà Trang. Okay, the first debate. How are you feeling right now? Proposition team.
More than excited.
Do you have more than excited as well?
A little bit nervous and also excited as well.
Okay.
Right.
So they are bigger Harry Potter fans than your team, which I think we established earlier. Are you feeling okay discussing Harry Potter right now? Do you have enough knowledge with the novels and the movie series?
I believe I have enough knowledge to debate with.
Okay. For the first debate, you have 3 minutes to give your speech. POI is not open, so please do not interrupt each other. Also, the proposition team, you will be going first. Opposition team, you will be going second. Do you understand the rules? Okay. Let the first debate begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a storytelling session, and today we'll listen about Harry Potter. And please pay attention to the Hogwarts School because we are now going to abolish the Hogwarts School in no time. Hogwarts has always been founded under 4 houses: Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw, which plays a distinct role in the formation of the members. So no matter what meanings they hold, their existence is believed to have surely impeded social cohesion inside Hogwarts, which has led to severe implications to the overall development of wizards and witches. So what are the problems in the status quo? Houses have been the source of prejudice inside the Hogwarts, and it has instilled toxic competition, which has encourages in unhealthy behaviors, such as dragging others down instead of helping each other. And 3, it has fostered division, exclusion, and discrimination, which we will later explain in our case. And the opposition team has a burden to prove and to defend. Why should we keep 4 houses while it is already discriminating in the first place? So what does our policy to abolish look like? There will be no more sorting. We're not gonna divide them by any means. There are narratives of inclusion, chronicles of acceptance, and stories of tolerance, which are the Hogwarts' main goals and the vision that we need to tell the students. And now, coming to our principal claim, which is the allocation is synonymous for discrimination. Why? Because students at the first place all started equally, but then they're sorted into different houses with different characters, and this become part of their identity. And people treat them based on those ideas, because stereotypically, they weigh certain values over others. In this case, bravery and intelligence can live on the top of the whole, while kindness and ambition pushed to the bottom. So discrimination happens both in the sorting process and in its aftermath. And in the second layer is that it is the segregation into 4 houses inherently flawed. So 1, segregation based on arbitrary standards. And there are 3 reasons for it to be flawed. 1, it is against the vision of the Hogwarts. It is the coexistence of magical and non-magical world. But if Hogwarts' purpose is to advocate for tolerance, inclusion, and acceptance, these things can't be realized with the houses, while students are boxed into stereotypes and taught with a narrative that differs from another. And 2, the standard it's based on doesn't account for the complexity of the human identity formation process, which is a process of constant changing and constant experiencing. But 4-house existence leads the students to believe that they are contained into specific identities while they are not.
So, King Martin Luther once dreamed that his son and his daughter will be valued based on the characters, not their backgrounds, and we realized that in Hogwarts they are doing exactly the same things. We are told that the conflict between houses happened, but it happened on the both sides as where you group the students where the conflict happened. So this is irrelevant, and we will prove that wrong in our first argument. So on our stances, the sorting hat can read students' minds to group them into houses with shared value and personality trait. But it also takes into account student will, such as the case of Harry Potter. The hat, after hearing his mumbling, that changed his mind, then make Harry Potter from Slytherin into Gryffindor. Second, given the limited number of inter-house activities to promote mutual understandings and tolerance, such as mixed house clubs, we are happy to promote them. Moving on, our first argument that we will provide safe environment to students to thrive. So what the problem on your side? Many students, especially freshmen, have certain securities. For example, Neville Longbottom, worried about his ability in everything, or Hermione, he's Muggle-born, which makes her vulnerable to purple supremacists. How can we help insecure students to feel safe in Hogwarts? We group students based on their shared value, i.e. they share what students should be pursued in life. This means the students interact with each other in A, equal status, i.e. house member, and B, share life goals. These are the two conditions based on the contact hypothesis by Dr. Gordon Allport for them to overcome the differences more quickly, more comfortably, and more effectively. More important, students in the same house usually share some same weaknesses, so they can stand for each other, like Hermione stands for Neville when Draco bullied him. So what will really matter here? Students can avoid unnecessary bullying at first, which helps them to build mental resilience. This is crucial for most kids to avoid anxiety studying at Hogwarts. You can only thrive and later open to people with different mindsets if you feel safe at first. This is the end of it.
All right, the first debate has come to an end. And we're going to start over here. Jang,
Yes?
do you think your argument is quite strong compared to Joe?
Everyone thinks so. Like Cho thinks her argument is better than me, and I personally think my argument is better than hers.
So thank you so much, Jang. All right. CNN breaking news. Joe,
Yes.
how do you feel right now?
Not really satisfactory, but
Why?
because I think I could have done better, but I'm glad that I was able to put forward all my strong ideas.
Okay. So your strong ideas, you may or may not think they're good at the moment, but the judge is here. And that guy in particular on the far left, Hugh, he has a reputation of being very straightforward, occasionally hurtful. So don't worry, you guys. Whatever he says, he's saying it with a good heart. Also, the middle one in the purple, she's part of the Slytherin houses. So keep that in mind, okay? It's really important. So judges, let's start with Ueng. Ueng, can you please share some of your thoughts?
I think for the time frame of 3 minutes, the proposition side did an amazing job. I think that your case setup was very clear to me. However, the explanation, I see your effort in trying to bring up as many ideas and make as many layers as possible. It is nice, but in the context of 3 minutes, I think that your strategy is making it like a little bit too long, and I didn't see it come to a very strong conclusion. So as much as analyzing is important, it is also important that you have to come to the conclusion before the time ends as well. For the opposition side, I think the two main problems I have with your speech by far is, first of all, the rebuttal part was actually not very, like direct to the proposition side, because the problem here is with me very clear. They say that by having the houses, students are going to discriminate against each other in different houses. Well, you said that, by having the houses, they are going to avoid unnecessary bullying. So I think that these ideas does clash with each other, but it needs more engagement in order to really prove to me that your team pulled through better than this team. Also, I think that the case that you have some ideas I really like about how the heads actually sorting students, not only because of their ability, but it can also read their minds and respect the decisions as well. But again, it needs a little bit more push in order to show that that is a very important idea that we will bring to maybe some arguments or some conclusion from your side. So for that, I would say that the contribution that I'm receiving right now is coming more from the proposition side. So 10 points will go to the prop side.
Okay. So thank you, Ueng. Stuart, you look like you have something to say.
I thought your delivery was incredible. I really thought the clarity of your speech and the pace of your speech really kind of helped articulate the points that you were putting forward. I liked the idea that you claim straight away that there is a burden for these guys to oppose the idea of getting rid of this. And that's because, through not opposing it, then they're promoting the ideas of discrimination. So I liked the fact that you went through that route. For the opposing team, I like the fact that you went straight in with a rebuttal. So that's good. It's good to see that you're trying to kind of attack and confront some of the ideas put forward. But like Ian said, I think it kind of just missed the mark a little bit, and it was a little bit difficult to see where your rebuttal was kind of clearly identifying and aiming at the ideas that this team put forward. But overall, it's a really strong first round from both teams, but personally, I have to give it to the affirmative proposition team.
Okay. Thank you, Stuart. And Hugh, let's hear it. Be gentle, though, please.
I'm very gentle, With the proposition team, I think undoubtedly you have a better delivery style and English speaking and debating ability. However, when you go to the layout, you spend almost 2 minutes on just the introduction. And with leaving 1 minute within the time allowance to actually develop your ideas, I don't think that's enough, because you're trying to push within a minute too many ideas. That leads to 2 problems. Number one, neither idea is developed fully enough. It's just very throwing out ideas. And second, you went way over time limit. Now, with the opposition team, you only give me 1 idea, right? But I believe that idea is developed fully enough. And I think even though the motion is a hypothetical motion, but it has so many real-life elements in this motion. And I appreciate the fact that you use research of contact hypothesis. And I think putting on the scale up too many ideas and neither is developed fully, and 1 idea that developed is strongly, I would give my 10 point to the idea that convinced me. And I think that is a strong argument that is very hard for the team to overthrow, because how can you have someone overcome the safety and insecurity in the first place? And that idea on itself, I think, knocks off all the other ideas that you have thrown out. So for me, it's a very easy 10 to the opposition team.
So judges, thank you so much. I saw your face when you got those 10 points, and he was like, 10 points go to the opposition team, and you lit up. You are so happy you got those 10 points. Why?
Because this is the first time I ever debate on this kind of big competitions. So when I see my first achievement, I'm really happy.
Good. So for everyone at home, Triple Threat, they have never debated. So this is it's a big milestone for you guys. So thank you so much. So please return back to your seats. Currently, right now, CNN Breaking News has 20 points. From the opposition team, Triple Threat, they have 10 points. It's only the first round, and 10-point difference is very insignificant. We still have 3 more rounds. However, we will begin the second debate right after the short break.
If Hogwarts' conference is to advocate for tolerance, inclusion, and acceptance, these things can't be realized with the houses.
How can we help insecure students to feel safe in Hogwarts? We group students based on their shared value, i.e. they share what students should be pursued in life.
It needs more engagement in order to really prove to me that your team pulled through better than this team.
Welcome back to the debaters. We are going to begin this second debate right now. Without further ado, let me introduce our contestants. From the proposition team, CNN Breaking News, we have Liên from Lin. From the opposition team, Triple Threat, please welcome Phan Ha An. Okay. Second debate. And I always ask this question in the beginning, but I forgot. Why are you guys CNN Breaking News? Where did you come up with this name?
Our school Vietnamese name can be written to CNN because in the first place it had 3 main letters, which are CN in it.
Okay, so a shorter abbreviation. And Triple Threat. Why Triple Threat?
It is a really on-the-spot choice, and there's not really much reason behind it except the fact that it sounds kind of fun and dangerous.
Okay, So 10-point difference, as I mentioned before, it's very insignificant. For the second round, the debate is a little bit different as you will have 4 minutes to deliver your speech. And POI is entirely open. So right now, the proposition team, you will begin. Do you guys understand the rules? All right, let the second debate begin.
Never trust a Slytherin. This is exactly what Ronald Weasley has told Harry Potter, who knows exactly nothing about the wizarding world. This has clearly shown the discrimination, as well as the stereotypical housing system in Hogwarts. As a second speaker of the proposition side, we believe that we would abolish all houses in Hogwarts. My speech will contain of 2 parts. The first one, the rebuttals. Second, the practical case. Now, coming to the first part, the rebuttals. The opposite side is actually thinking that this house can create a safe environment as well as helping these people overcome differences and bully. However, what actually happened in the housing system here is that first, dividing people into different houses will not make them overcome the differences. They will not get familiar with these differences at all, but however, they will actually see the clear differences between each houses, which later on will lead to further discrimination and again, not solving the problems that both proposition side and opposition side is putting forward here today. Okay?
Is that we mean that they will get along with their own housemates more?
Well, still that case, when they will get along with their housemate more, it will actually create even more differences between they themselves as well as their housemates and other people from other houses, which is again discrimination and highlighting the differences in the housing system of Hogwarts. Also, when saying that they can avoid bullying and will have mental resilience later on, we believe that it will not be valid. Why? Because at the end of the day, mental resilience is get from the experience that these people have when staying against these kind of bullying. Now, coming to the second part, the practical case. Firstly, we believe that action abolishing will stop the message of toxic and unhealthy competition. Why? Because competition in Hogwarts mostly refer to degrading other houses by tricks and make others lose points to put their houses up. 2 bad impact from this. Firstly, it creates the mindset that it is okay to see other people lose as long as you win. There will be no sympathy or empathy in your side of the house world, which later on is a very negative impact that we'll propose later. Second, it is actually not a way to make you improve if the opposite side is actually saying that, yeah, competition will lead to improvement, because they do not actually become better with their own strength or their characteristics. It is actually just tricking and lowering others down skill that improve, which another negative improvements too. Well, Hogwarts student can be referred to those main human resource for the Ministry of Magic, and also these people have to live outside the world. So without any empathy and sympathy and just toxic competition, we believe that it is not actually the world proposition side want to build in this debate. Now, come to a second case of improving an educational system which puts students into a vacuum. Well, the classification refers to a matter of fact. The students will only see people with their own strength that they have already had in the first place. 2 negative impacts again. The first one, there will be little or no room for improvement. Why? Because they are actually put inside a box with a ceiling which are their own potential characteristics and model in the first place. They will only develop to the maximum level like Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, etc., without actually exceeding over that kind of limitation. As a result, we believe the housing system is actually putting limitation to development. Second, the branding system here. We believe that it will create 2 impacts. Firstly, the force and the pressure the students who stay inside these houses, since they have to be somebody, which later on will create the identity crisis. The clear examples for this is actually Peter Pettigrew, who is a person in Gryffindor. However, he does not have any kind of bravery or anything, and afterwards he is actually persuaded by Voldemort to actually come to other sides. This is completely what outside the house does not want to have in this debate. From all this point above, proud to alleviate your case. Thank you.
We believe that the ultimate goal of education is to make students become the best version of themselves. And in today's debate, we will show you how we reach that goal more effectively than your side would. First of all, we would like to start with some rebuttals. We believe that your solution is somewhat vague. Yes, we get that Hogwarts values certain qualities, but if not this way of sorting, how else would you sort them out? According to what? Academic abilities or anything? Instead, secondly, you said that the systems causes discrimination. However, we say that it is not necessarily and exclusively stemming from the houses. It also stems from the differentiation between witches and muggles, or half-bloods and purebloods. And even if it does cause discrimination, your policy does not seem to be helping, especially between the wizards and muggles, or purebloods and half-bloods. But our policy will. Also, you said that the system encourages toxic competition, but however you sort, there will be competition between them. And would you call every competition toxic? I think that your team has not yet pointed out why the sorting necessarily points to the fact that it would be toxic. Now, moving on to our second statement, is that how we would promote tolerance and prevent conflicts. The problem we have at hand is that there seems to be a lack of positive interaction between students from different houses, which reinforces negative stereotypes. And our solution to that is to organize inter-house activities, such as, okay.
Do you believe that the action of organizing them into houses will make them feel more confident when being open to the world?
Well, that point has been proven by my first speaker, such as tolerance days to discuss certain misconceptions about different houses. One example of this is Merlin, the greatest wizard of the whole world of all the times. And Merlin is a Slytherin, but Merlin also was the first to found an organization to support the cause of Muggles and to fight for Muggle rights. And this proves that not all Slytherins are bad. And once students realize this, and with a certain number of activities helping them realize it, the young students start to realize that they are misunderstanding other houses, which increases the tolerance they have. And why is this important? Our solution will prevent potential tensions between houses based on the misunderstandings. And also, in the long run, we can create generations of wizards without discrimination mindsets in the post-Voldemort world. On comparative, your side has yet to point out how you will sort the system out instead. But on our side, we have given students time to build their mental resilience, and we make sure that they can choose what they want to when they are really ready to contact others. And this is why we believe that our solution not only helps reach the goal of promoting tolerance and preventing conflicts, we also believe that it has done something that your policy has not really pointed to, and still ensuring the effectiveness that you have not really have a policy. Based on what I have said in my speech, proud to oppose.
All right, that was good. You guys have great English, and it's the fluency. I'm very, very surprised. The second debate is getting a little bit more intense compared to the first debate. But I don't see smiles so much. I see nervous faces and uncertainty. What is going on, proposition team? Lynn?
I'm very surprised with the excellency of the opposition side.
That's very nice of you to say. Do you have a compliment for the proposition team?
Well, yes. I really like your choice of vocabulary, and your eloquence really surprises me as well.
Usually when it comes to debating, I often imagine people being extremely upset and angry with each other, but I admire you guys because how much respect you have for each other. So, right now, again, 20 points and 10 points. And I'm assuming you want to hear what the judges have to say. Uing, you're looking at me with a big old smile on your face.
I think there are a lot of developments from both teams. I'm happy to see you guys was engaging with each other through POIs as well. Proposition side, I think I love your structure. It's very clear. You did improve and you try to answer as many questions as possible. I like your analysis. It's very clean and you have very good response to the other team. However, I think that the problem that both teams are facing today is that your arguments right now are lack of uniqueness. While the prop side trying to abolish own houses, and admittedly, we don't know how they're going to sort it or are they going to sort it at all. The op side is telling me that they want to have more inter-houses activities, which basically also allows students to have more interactions with each other as well. So I think there's some rounds of similarities here in which I need explanation from you guys and why your way of doing it is superior to the other way. So else I would say that both you guys are actually not really debating on one topic anymore. For the upside today, I think that you had nice idea. You have one very good rebuttal when you talk about the competition actually still going to happen, no matter if you have the houses or not. I think that's a very spot-on idea. I think that the reason, the tipping point in here that I gave 10 points to one team was that there was a team when I see that there were more ideas that left undone than the other team, while the other team has tried make more effort in order to answer more questions for me, and that would be the proposition side who take my 10 points today again.
Okay. Stuart, let's hear your thoughts.
What I really liked in terms of, for the proposition side, the notion that actually, okay, well, let's look into what competition means, and actually, is it really healthy competition when you're promoting houses to kind of play tricks on each other? Is that really the competition that we're looking for in an establishment like Hogwarts? So I think your kind of development of that was good. Also, I think the grander scheme of things where you were saying for the Ministry of Magic, this is their kind of main source of human resources, and that actually they need notions such as empathy and sympathy to be developed, and the current system doesn't allow them to do that. That was good as well. So looking at the broader picture and looking at the kind of requirements that actually, where does the impact of this lie? So that was good. For the opposition team, I like that you kind of your idea of that, you put out what education means and what education should be, and your idea of what the ultimate education is, and then you kind of try to build your case and support that through the support of having those houses. I like the fact as well that you question these guys. Well, why is competition really that toxic? And so I think like your questioning of the other side for that particular point was very good. For me, between the two, I'm going to have to give it to the opposition side for this one, because I think actually your interaction with the other team's ideas was really good. So I'd like to see more of that from both teams in the future. Okay.
All right, thank you, Stuart. So 30, 20, and Hugh, let's hear it.
So there's 3 areas I want to compare the two teams neck to neck. In terms of rebuttal, I think even though the proposition team tried to address the safe environment, but I don't think you actually successfully rebut their strong argument of the first round, which is still when freshmen come to Hogwarts, right? It's better for them to have mingle around with the people that's similar to them so that they can easily avoid and overcome bullies. This team, however, addressed the rebuttal of the other team more successfully by pointing out that discrimination still exists, competition still exists, and why competition is toxic, right? So on the rebuttal ground, it goes to the opposition. On the argument round, the proposition team, I applaud you for trying to supplement your first debater argument by elaborating further on the unhealthy competition. You have a point there as well, but it lacks like a structure for me, and it lacks enough reasoning. So I think on the argument round, it goes to the proposition. Now, on the whole case so far, I think with the proposition team, you want to abolish, but you haven't come up with a measure to overcome the bully, unsafe environment, right? With the opposition team, you want to keep the house and you have the policy to overcome the weakness is you're trying to have in-the-house events and mingling. So on the standings so far, I'm slightly inclined towards the opposition team. However, judging on just the second round, my 10 point go to the proposition team.
So girls, thank you so much. Please return back to your seats. Currently, right now, CNN Breaking News has 40 points as the proposition team. Over here, the opposition team, Triple Threat, has 20 points. However, we still have plenty of points left in the show. And we will determine who is the winner in a little bit. But we have the third round that's next after the break.
Because competition in Hogwarts mostly refer to degrading other houses by tricks and make others lose points to put their houses up.
You said that the system encourages toxic competition, but however you sort, there will be competition between them.
You have a point there as well, but it lacks like a structure for me, and it lacks enough reasoning.
Welcome back to the debaters. We are going to begin the third debate. Without further ado, please welcome ~NG Halti, and from the opposition team, please welcome Trận and Thư. Okay, so this is the third debate. Right now with the proposition team, you are winning by 20 points. How do you feel?
I'm a little bit nervous because I want to keep up with the flow that our teammate has done. So.
Okay, I'll take that. Hi.
Hello.
So, your opponent over here is a very experienced debater. How does that make you feel?
I feel that I must have met some experiment people in my life. So it is just a really small case that I have to face with, and I'm really ready to fight with her.
Okay, I'm excited. This is gonna get good. And you know right now your team is down by 20 points. However, you can still win this. Do you feel pressured right now?
No, not a lot, because lose is a really normal situations in your life.
Okay, I'll take that. I like that outlook. So right now, you guys, proposition team, opposition team, the third debate is similar to the second one. You have 4 minutes to deliver your speech. POI is entirely open. Do you understand the rules? Great. Let's begin the debate.
One opposition came here and said to us that because the selecting is based on characters and not background, so all the things afterward is justified and is desirable, they are basically saying that there are certain people that are deemed to live in the bottom of the society in the start. They are basically saying that there are certain people who deserve to be isolated and discriminated, even though they have done nothing wrong, just because of their supposedly characteristic. So those ideas from opposition are the ideas that we want to abolish today, and that's why I'm proud to abolish all houses in Hogwarts. So what is the visualization of our world? We want a world where there is no classification at all. Everybody just live as a big group together. So A, all students are being cared for equally and no one receives stereotypes or discrimination. B, students get to have total development, not limited to only one field or characteristic. And C, we want a friendly, loving society where people see each other as partners, not rivals, even when they are different. So what about the opposition's world today? People will grow up and they have no sympathy. They are not open to differences. So with that being said, I will have 2 main questions and that I will answer in my speech. The first question is this effect positive or negative? And the second question is the process of dividing and selecting students justified from the start? So coming to the first question, is this positive or negative? So the most bright point from the opposition side is that students will feel safe because of the shared ideas they have with each other. So they will be able to build mental resilience, etc. But first, this is very bizarre because if your goal is to make students to feel safe by avoiding bullies, but what you are doing is dividing them and making them rivals to each other. You are making them into groups to compete with each other. And also, like our speakers have said, most members of other houses hate Slytherin, although even when they haven't met them in person yet. And second, I don't see why violence in school is that big and urgent because they're all kids and students. Plus, they don't have any motivation to hate others from the start, that we have to group them together to avoiding this and not hear that grouping them is what really gives them the motivation to hate the strangers from other houses. And while on this question, we have proved to you that this will make them have negative message and the toxic competition. And we receive, again, no really effective rebuttals. And also coming to the second question, is the process of dividing and selecting students justified? So I want to stress the problem of discrimination here, because even when all the benefits from the opportunity case really exist, if they are immoral from the start, then they should not exist. So what we have proved to you, it is unjustified from the start because we are all equal, but you are treating them based on the stereotypes that you're giving them even though they do not have the power to decide. And basically, it is supporting the bias, especially important in education, because in the Harry Potter book, the principal always gives point to Gryffindor because he loves the bravery of that houses. So in this debate, I believe that we have won on both two questions, and we also protect the most vulnerable stakeholders in this debate because we are protecting the one who receive the most men from the society, and we don't want Slytherin or Hufflepuff have to live in the basement anymore. Proud to be a proposition. Thank you.
Your team say that we would abolish all houses so the students don't against each other. But against means we have two types. First, houses versus houses. Yes, we agree that you can decrease this. But how about individual versus individuals? Can you make everyone live in peace in an abolish school? Of course not, because everyone has a different style and everyone has a different personality. And so if you put them together, do they against each other or do they do and live peace? And secondly, that we don't force them to be the personality that represent for them house. For instance, Ravenclaw represent for the intelligence. We don't let them to be intelligent. We just encourage them, and then if they can have another good personality, we also encourage them to so they can push up their personality. And then secondly, that you have said all equals, but how we can find the equal if in a school that has non-magical and magical person like Draco Malfoy, he has touched to be a witch before go to Hogwarts, and Harry Potter, he haven't touched anymore. So can you put Harry and Draco in the same house? And then secondly, that you said the toxic competitions, it's negative, but if we don't have the competitions, so people can't know that they have so that doesn't equal to that people can live in peaceful, okay? And the second thing, you say that the principal loves the bravery. No, the principal always give point to Gryffindor because Gryffindor help people in Hogwarts to escape from the risk. And also, I am standing here to tell you that even our worst case is better than your best case. First of all, you say that if every student can study every aspect of the language, or maybe they can have the free discovery to find themselves, and if we put them into house, they are put inside a box. But no, and as I have to mention that we don't force them to be someone, we just give them the request and they can encourage every personality and aspect of themselves. No. And the second thing that I think we have is the equal status and the common goals. Our common goals is to have our ultimate goal is to let students to find themselves. But let me tell you, do you think that every student can be the second Harmony? For instance, it's a Neville Longbottom. Do you think that Neville Longbottom is a really smarty, even his war plot? No, because he like just shy and a little bit not smarty like Hermione. So he needs to be put on the Gryffindor because people here, he can find the same perspective, same point of view as the Gryffindor. And if you put them just in a class with full of maybe Draco Malfoy, can he develop? And the second, we bring to it a better than George is the safety of the students. If students just successful, but do they feel safety about their life? Of course not, because if even Neville Longbottom's safety in the life, success in the life, do he feel peaceful? Of course not, because maybe that he just feels shy. No. And the second thing that, yes, maybe your Hogwarts students maybe have a really successful career, but just some of them. If Neville Longbottom, no. Sorry. If Neville Longbottom live in their life, do he have a successful career as Hermione and Draco? And the last, that in our world, no one left behind. No. And another thing we want to recognize that we're going to make Hogwarts students great again.
I love that. That was extremely entertaining. Both of you so confident with your delivery. So, proposition team, why no? You wouldn't let her ask a question. Why?
I have a lot of things in my mind and I can't let them waste my time for their questions.
Okay. How do you feel you couldn't ask any questions?
I feel a little bit frustrated, but that's okay because I'm still comfortable with my speech.
Yeah, because for me, I am not a judge. I think that's probably a good thing. but the judges here will judge you, and I'm very curious to hear what they have to say on this round. Hugh, I think you're ready.
I actually enjoy this round.
Me too, it's great.
The most.
It was so fun.
Because I think it's very equal footing between the two. Now, with the proposition team, I think your rebuttal is quite weak and too much overgeneralizations. For example, they don't make any claim about when you put people into boxes, that means they're going to be stuck at the bottom of the society. I don't think they make that claim throughout. And you kind of jump into that. I feel, yes, I can see your point, but it's a little bit forced onto their reasoning. With the opposition side, maybe it's just my personal preference. I'm a little bit taken back by your style of debating. It's too much finger pointing and too aggressiveness. Yes, maybe some people like it. I'm a little bit taken back.
I need a POI for that one.
Yes, and also I know the other team want to put some question and you have a lot of ideas, but maybe it's a nicer way of saying no, but it's quite aggressive. Anyway, but then I quite like your rebuttals, to be honest. I think you bring out a lot of strong rebuttals. Yes, there's discrimination, house versus house. How can you solve individual versus individual? And they not force them into boxes, but encourage other characters as well. And you give a lot of examples. Actually use the Harry Potter world to cite a lot of evidence and examples, which I quite like. I do think the opposition team come to the third round with a stronger footing. And then with the rebuttal in this particular round, I give my 10 points to the opposition team.
All right, thank you, Hugh. Stuart.
Yeah, quite a fiery round, to be honest. It was, as you said, incredibly entertaining to watch. For the proposition, I like the idea that, you know, actually what you're trying to do is make sure that the most vulnerable stakeholders in the school are being looked after, and the way that you do that is to ensure that, you know, there's kind of an open policy. And this idea that, you know, if we place them into houses, okay, yes, you're kind of predetermining them, and you're also kind of predetermining people for discrimination in some way as well. So you're, you know, if you're placing them into places already and they can't actually move and change their characteristics, then they're coming in and they're being discriminated, and you're putting them in straight away. So I thought those points were really good. For the opposition side, your rebuttals were fantastic. But I think you may have spent actually a little bit too much time on your rebuttals and not enough kind of actually strengthening your case from the previous rounds. You mentioned kind of the worst case scenario for ours is better than the best case scenario for the other team, but I didn't really hear the development of that justify that claim. Overall though, you did incredibly well kind of like picking apart some of their arguments, or at least addressing their arguments. But again, I would have liked to see you kind of accept the POI, so there's a little bit more interaction between the sides, especially as the last round of the debate. It would be good to see a bit more interaction of those ideas. But for the strength of the ideas themselves and the ability to kind of articulate and build the case around them, I'm going to give it to the proposition side for that round.
Thank you, Stuart. Wing? Hi.
I think this round is particularly hard to judge because I think both teams now have come up to a very high level in which there are a lot of common rounds between both teams. However, I think that both teams have not focused on, you know, showing where your team is standing in that common round. I would say there are two main questions I would address in this particular turn. First of all, saying that both words had discriminations, which word is actually better? The second question I would make is that now which team will protect the weaker ones better? And I think in this particular turn, the upside actually did a pretty better job for me when you mentioned about the mental resilience, which was a problem that I think the prop side, they try very, you know, like skillfully to avoid answering that question directly through the three turns as well. So I think like the debate boils down to a point where both teams are very neck to each other, and I wish that there would be a chance when teams can directly answer to the biggest, strongest question from the opponent team. And therefore, I would give my 10 points to continue that chance, because I think that the opposition side still need a chance in order to say it, and I think they have done pretty much by far. So my 10 points in this turn will go to the opposition side.
So right now, you guys, we have 50 points for the proposition team. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling okay because I'm confident with my teammate in the next round.
All right, the pressure though is on the opposition team. How are you feeling right now?
It is the first time I have debate in a large stage like this, so I'm really proud of myself.
You should be.
Yes, and I want to give the thanks to all audience and the judges and my opponents to listen to me and to join this debate.
So audience, we have a huge audience tonight. A round of applause for both the contestants. Okay, so girls, thank you so much. So please return back to your seats. So currently, right now, the proposition team, CNN Breaking News, has 50 points. The opposition team, Triple Threat, has 40 points. We have one round left, and this is the most important round. However, we will get to you right after the break.
If your goal is to make students to feel safe by avoiding bullies, but what you are doing is dividing them and making them liable to each other.
Because everyone have a different stats and everyone have a different personality. And so if you put them together, do they against each other or do they do and live peace?
I think you may have spent actually a little bit too much time on your rebuttals and not enough kind of actually strengthening your case from the previous rounds.
Welcome back to the Debaters Season 2. All right, let me introduce the two contestants coming up for the final reply speech. Please welcome Wing Min Jo. From the opposition team, please welcome Ha An. Okay, contestants, I'm gonna start on this side. So Ha An, you need to win all 15 points. Do you think you can do it?
I hope I can.
You hope, not I can. I will.
I'm not very confident, but yes.
Don't tell me that. The judges are listening to the other contestants. Okay, you're 100% confident. You will win.
Yes, certainly.
Okay, I'll take that. It's enough confidence for me. Hi. That smile is bigger from the first time I saw you on the first debate. And you think you can take all the points from the opposition team?
That's quite overconfident to say, so I don't want to give any speculation. Let the truth say.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So right now, the final reply speech is a little bit different. You will have 2 minutes to deliver a speech. POI is not open whatsoever, so please do not interrupt each other. And proposition team, you will be going second. Opposition team, you will be going first. Do you understand the rules? All right. This, I'm not saying, but there's a lot of pressure right now. There is a lot of pressure, but I'll leave it at that. All right, let's get started. Let the debate begin.
In today's reply speech, I will be explaining what we managed to solve and what you managed to solve in our debate today. In our world, we keep the houses, so students have a better chance to fit in their own houses. We organize the tolerance days to help students realize that they have had misunderstandings about their stereotypes about other houses. Students have a better chance to fit into their own houses and bond with others at the same time. What has your side accomplished? Well, yes, there is no more discrimination that is caused by the houses, but you have not solved the issue of discrimination between the witches and the wizards and muggles, or the pure-blooded or half-blooded. Also, you have said that there is no reason for young children to hate each other, but there is still personality clashes that can take place. And since you did not solve the discrimination that I mentioned above, they can still hate each other. Also, you denied that some students can perform worse than others. Some students can actually be more insecure than others. For example, the example of Neville Longbottom that we presented, who found confidence himself thanks to the house spirit, and the system of the houses will help those who are more vulnerable to experience the same. So in your world, conflict still exists between the purebloods and the half-bloods, or the wizards and the muggles. And while we have solved that issue, so in our world, there is more equality. Vulnerable students who deserve help get what they deserve. In my opinion, your team has failed to solve that issue, and proud to oppose.
Ladies and gentlemen, if the opposition were to create a safe environment, why I, as a Slytherin, still have to be judged by others and still have to live in the basement? I believe that on your side of the house, you are the one that is unable to protect the vulnerable stakeholder here, which is the students of the Hogwarts themselves, who experienced stereotypes and also discrimination. So now, before that, having a look at what the opposition has brought to us today. So one, they argue that on their side of the house, they have the students being in their best version. However, to compare your best version versus our best version, I believe on our side of the house we get more multifaceted generations of students. Just have a quick examples. If on your side of the house you have a complete Slytherin, you have a completely only ambitious or only intelligent or only a nice person, we have a nice, brave, intelligent and also ambitious person. So just that example themselves, it itself had proof that on our side of the house we are able to create a larger space for them to discover and develop themselves. And secondly, they brought to us the idea about the discrimination and competition. Actually, this is quite weird because they're telling me that because there are vulnerable people that has vulnerable mindset, that now they want to tackle that by grouping them all together. And let me tell you why on your side of the house you are the one who actively, firstly, create the hateful mindset and secondly, triggers it. And therefore, I believe that even if on our side we have discrimination, we have the competition, it is still less harmful than you because the power is not added. Thank you.
You did it. It's finally over. But in this round, we do not hear from the judges. They will be giving me their scores, and I will be announcing that right after the short break.
Ignite your passion. Ignite your passion.
Welcome back to the debate. Right now, I have the final results in my hands. Currently, CNN breaking news, the team to my right has 50 points. The opposition team, Triple Threat, has 40 points. They need to win all 15 points to win. You guys just need one judge to change their mind. Okay, so now we're just gonna hang out and then now you wanna know the results. The judges have given all 15 points to one team. CNN breaking news. Triple Threat. The winner of tonight's debate goes to CNN Breaking News. Congratulations, girls. Congratulations. So all of you, thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I think you guys are thrilled. The opposition team, Triple Threat, I know this was your first time debating, did a fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic. And everybody at home, I want to give a big thanks to British University Vietnam for sponsoring this and also VTV7, the National Educational Channel of Vietnam. Thank you so much. We'll see you again with another show.